The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Hello, welcome back to the West Ham Massive, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. And as usual, please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. We are here to discuss some transfer goings on in the world of West Ham. But before we go too much further, I must get the little disclaimer out of the way. If adult language offends any of you, you might want to disappear right now because there might be the odd swear word that comes flying out of my mouth. And I've got two very special guests that are going to join us right now. Some of you might recognize this gentleman and some of you might recognize, hang on, where's he gone?
You wouldn't even believe it. You couldn't write it. I've caught him at work because I was out having a roast dinner. We got the sun shining. He's actually had to leave for a moment to serve Ricky Hatton. No joke.
No, seriously.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know whether to walk through the bar and show you, but Ricky's just walked in. All right.
We should get Ricky Hatton on the stream. That'd be hilarious. That'd be brilliant. Oh, this is an unexpected.
He's had to go for a minute. This is Fraser at work. So here he is. He's had to go and pull a pint. Look, interrupted by Ricky.
So we have had our stream interrupted by a former world champion boxer. How you doing, Ricky?
Hey, I don't know who this number is, but nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Ricky on a podcast. He was supposed to be filming, so I've got to go and pull a pint. But it's anybody important. He went Ricky out. Are we going in?
I can't believe that. That was unscripted, ladies and gentlemen. We've just had Ricky Hatton on a live stream. Superb. Two-time, was he light welterweight and welterweight champion, I think he was.
Yes, yes, it was.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, back onto the script, ladies and gentlemen. We probably should get onto the talk about what we're here to talk about. So, Michael, we're here to talk about two stories that have broke fairly recently. I'm just going to sort of share this with the ladies and gentlemen at home so that they know this isn't a load of old bollocks that I'm coming out with, basically. So this is a story on the Football Italia website via the One Football website. A story starts with the headline, Inter tell West Ham to forget about Bissek bid. Now, if you read further into the story, this is about a central defender by the name of Jan Bissek. He's a German player of Cameroonian descent, and he's currently on the books of Inter Milan, who obviously won Serie A last season. He's been there for just the one season. They got him the year before from the Danish club Aarhus. And for whatever reason, I don't know about you, whenever I hear that name, I always think of the group Madness. I don't know why. It's quite uncanny. But he started his career at Cologne in the Bundesliga. He's been around the block. He's been at Roda in the Netherlands, and he's been at Vitor Guimarães in the Portuguese leagues as well. And according to this story, West Ham have gone to Inter Milan to see if they'd be prepared to sell him to us in the summer. Inter Milan have turned around and said that's absolutely not going to happen. They don't intend to part with him. But everybody's got their price, Michael, and it'd just be really interesting. Do you think that this might be possibly one out of left field, a bit like Guido Rodriguez, one we weren't expecting to come in and sit alongside Max Kilman? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's certainly been kept quiet. And when we recorded the other thing we do earlier on, we were talking about the transfer policy. I am glad to see there have been a few like Scooby-Doo style whip the mask off mystery signings. And this is one that's maybe got potential. As you mentioned there and you referenced in your build-up to the introduction to him, he's certainly played for a few clubs. I don't know if he's necessarily found a home. Did you mention when you were speaking then, I was just shutting the door because of the noise. Did you mention the price and what they're talking about in terms of amount of euros?
According to he was purchased for 7 million euros a year ago, which I looked in is roughly about 6 million quid in sterling. And according to this article, they say, however, even if his price tag has tripled over the last 12 months to circa 21 million euros, Inter still have no intention of parting with him. So, okay, if they're not going to do business for around 21 million euros, what would be the trigger point? 21, 22, 25, 30? I've got no idea. But I mean, he's what, 23 years of age. He's 6'5", so he's a bit of a unit. And as I say, he's done well at Inter Milan by the looks of things. You know, he obviously won Serie A last season. I mean, you could sort of like include the Super Coppa Italiana. That's basically the Italian version of the Community Shield. But you know, he's obviously someone that's got a bit of potential. He played 16 Serie A games last season and 21 games overall. So he's readily used by Inter Milan in a championship winning team.
Yeah, I agree in terms of what you said a little earlier on about everybody has their price, but it seems to me the frustration with us is we seem to be chasing people that are outright saying either they're not interested in coming or the clubs are saying we're not interested in selling. Look, of course, there's gamesmanship, and of course, clubs will drive a hard bargain and negotiate. But if you cast your mind back to the likes of recent bids for Fofana, he outright said he didn't want to come to us. He wanted to go to AC Milan. Before that, we had En-Nesyri or En-Nesyri, however you want to pronounce it. He outright said he was settled and comfortable and didn't want to leave to come to London. This seems like another case where we're like a dog chasing our tail in some respects. Because if you're not going to get him for a reasonable amount of money, where does it end? How far do you go? How much do you keep on bidding? I still think at the moment we're sort of playing these cards where perhaps we're trying to be a bit clever with it and sort of have some red herrings to try to flush out other people that we're negotiating with. And I do have to wonder if this is a play to try to get Nice and Jean-Claire Todibo to make his mind up on whether he is going to be going to Juventus, who seemingly can't afford him, or whether it's viable for him to come. So I'm wondering if he's just put out there as we do have other options or get off the pot, you know, kind of thing. So
bit of leverage.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you suspect this might be he might be a bit of leverage to get the Todibo deal over the line. I mean, obviously, as far as that's concerned with Todibo, I mean, it would appear that Nice favour our bid over the bid of Juventus, yet the player favours Juventus over us. It's a bit of a strange dynamic, that particular one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really strange. But at the end of the day, I believe we came well above and beyond Juventus's bid. And of course, the player will have to agree terms, but I can see him wanting to go and play in the Premier League. It's just with aside the money in the Saudi league, it is the richest and certainly the most profile league at the moment. I could see him wanting to play, and I'm sure we could offer him more financially compared to Juventus. And I would imagine that a club the size of Nice and the situation currently in the French league, I would imagine they'll be pushing for that sort of money because I think they could really do with it. When you see things like the likes that's happened to Bordeaux recently and the whole controversy with the television deals over in League 1, you've got to think that will be a big carrot on the table for them. So there'll be people in their ears. Obviously, there'll be intermediaries and agents that make a fair bit out of that. I still don't think that bid's dead. And like I say, I think we're maybe using Inter and their player because we also were linked to Dumfries as well that we saw in the Euros. I think there's a chance we're trying to smoke him out a little bit and just sort of wave the carrot of temptation under their nose and see what comes.
Fair enough. You've got a fan in the live chat, Michael.
It's a Soul Singing Superstar South Tenerife. Good, yes. Yeah, I'm very good. I'm actually in Tenerife at the moment, out and about rather than at home. So it all looks a little bit makeshift. I just went out for my Sunday dinner, chilled out, and then I spoke to Gatesy and I said I can jump on, but I'm literally just popping in a bar to say hello to a friend. So yeah, here I am. So nice to see you.
And as an extra bonus for those of you that have joined us literally in the last like 3-4 minutes, you've missed. You're going to have to go back and see. And this is no word of a lie. We had Ricky Hatton on. Yes, the Ricky Hatton, not a Ricky Hatton who's maybe a butcher that sort of like lives in the Tenerife area. I'm talking the former boxer, the 2-weight world champion, Ricky the Hitman Hatton, was on this channel on this very stream. Go back and have a look. And if that doesn't convince the 63 of you that are watching live right now to put a like on this stream, to push this stream to and this channel to other places, I really don't know what will.
Celebrity appearances.
Absolutely. 69 of you, 73 of you. This was where Ricky Hatton was. Go back and have a look at it. But before we get on to the next story that I want to talk about, Michael, I just want to give you a little bit of an opportunity to discuss, because I notice underneath where it says your name, it says opinions from offside. Tell me more. What is this?
So I'm a relative newbie and a beginner in this world, as you know, Gatesy. You've been kind enough to have me on your show and do various things with me before, and I've appeared as a little guest a lot like this on a few other channels. I didn't want to make a West Ham channel because, you know, there's lots of people, friends of mine, who already do that. I didn't want to step on any toes. But the gentleman who was supposed to be in the video until he went back to his proper job, he and I always sit over a beer and discuss all things football, you know, whether it's the VAR or, you know, football politics or actual games or tactics or formations. And we used to have some good old ding-dongs back and forth. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, and we like to debate it. And we said, you know what, there might be some people out there as nutty as us that might enjoy hearing some of the conversations. So we've just had an attempt, we're having a go at starting a YouTube channel. As you can see there, it's Opinions from Offside. In fact, it's so new and so sparse at the moment. I think there's about 24, 25 subscribers. So it's even difficult to find it in the chat, like in YouTube, rather, when you're searching it. So we're trying to build it up. You know, we'd be very grateful for any engagement, any subscribers. Not necessarily, I am obviously a West Ham fan, but thank you, Gacy. I'm a West Ham fan, but, you know, it's not just, it's topics about West Ham. We did in one we recorded this morning when we spoke about the pre-season friendlies and what's happening so far. But it is just a general football thing. So any club, any opinions, we're going to get people on a lot like this and sort of chew the fat a little bit. So it's something we're enjoying doing at the moment. You know, I don't think it's going to go skyrocketing to the point where I can retire on my yacht. But I'm just enjoying chatting football at the moment. And if anyone's into that sort of thing, I'll be honoured if you came and had a look.
Please do, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Michael's a great guy. He's working really hard with all these different bits and pieces going on in his life. He's a dad, he's a husband, he's a singer, and now he's a budding YouTube star. So, you know, everybody's got to start somewhere. I put the link, the channel URL into the chat, so there's no excuse for you to not be able to find him. Click that link, get subscribed, and you'll be listening to some good chat. As he says, it's more a general football channel rather than a specific West Ham channel such as this. But Michael himself is a West Ham fan. So get yourself across there. Give him your love. Okay, so we're going to now talk about the other story that I wanted to discuss. The story coming out that we've, obviously we're in a little group chat and we've seen this message, you and I. And it appears now, from according to sources, and this is, as I say, I'm only getting this information third hand, if you will, but it appears that the club have told the club captain, or the club captain as he was last season, Kurt Zouma, that he actually should find a new club. Now, obviously, we're aware that there have been talks about interest from Saudi Arabia, and the club have obviously sort of maybe given him a little bit of a hint that maybe you might want to explore that as a possibility. And there's also been speculation about whether it might be that a mutual termination of his contract might come about. He only has a contract at the club for the remainder of this season, but I think it's been fairly apparent, not just in the pre-season prior to that, but also I think it's become a little bit more starkly apparent during pre-season that his knees are becoming more and more progressively an issue for him and thereby the club. And he's obviously on a fair whack as far as wages are concerned. So, is there going to be maybe a parting of the ways here, do you think, Michael?
It's a difficult one. I think all of your viewers and subscribers and fellow West Ham fans will know, like we do, that he's broken. He's very much broken. Look, we signed him with dreadful injury record in terms of his knees. He's been a great servant for us. If you put aside the politics and any personal feelings about the whole animal situation, in terms of being a player, he's been a great servant. But it has, like you say there, Rob, it's become more and more apparent, especially in the last sort of 6 months, 6 to 12 months. He looks in discomfort when he's running and jogging. He's much less dexterous than he used to be. He could barely lift his leg above knee height. I think this is almost, it seems a little harsh from the club, but I would maybe give the counter argument that if he's ever going to pass a medical and have an opportunity to earn a crust somewhere else, it will be now. Because if you can imagine in another 12 months' time with continued deterioration and continued lack of mobility and loss of mobility, you just wonder how bad he's going to be in 12 months' time, I think.
Yeah, I think that if there's any way that a deal can be structured where it's mutually mutually beneficial. I mean, look, I suspect he's not going to play that much. He's certainly not going to play as much as what he's got used to over the last couple of seasons. I think that's fairly apparent. I think that he won't be the club captain. So, can his ego sustain that particular blow? I don't know him well enough to comment. I don't know him at all. But I just wonder if there's maybe some sort of middle ground. I don't expect him to just tear up his contract and walk away. I don't think that's realistic. But at the same time, I just wonder if there's going to be some sort of like point in the middle where both the club and the player can arrive at a point where they can find a financial settlement where we can sort of like say to him, right, there's a chunk of the remainder of your contract. It's not 100% of it, but here's a portion of it. You can fuck off and you can negotiate with a club in Saudi Arabia or wherever the hell you want. We really don't care. But could you just please fuck off now? And with the money that we're saving on that, we can then obviously put it towards getting in an adequate replacement. Now, whether that's this Jan Bissek, whether that's Jean-Claire Todibo, or whether that's another, because I think it's fairly well established that we're going to need a centre-back because what we've got isn't working at the minute. We know Kilman's going to come in at the left side of the centre-back. Not too sure whether Aguirre's going to stick round. So I think we probably need reinforcements. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it speaks to two things in particular. I think the first one is we're probably very likely looking at a Jack Wilshere kind of scenario here, where we think about accumulate the wages that he would be due for the remainder of his contract, which, as you say, is not much longer now. So I know he's on a fair whack. We might agree to pay 60, 70% or something of his wages off and get him off the books. Also giving him a chance maybe to move on. I mean, I believe he's of Muslim faith as well. So that's also sometimes a draw over to Saudi. So he might go over there and, perhaps a slower pace of game, perhaps not quite the same level. He could still do a job for sure. So it's a funny old thing. And the second thing it speaks to, I think, is without being in Europe, without having European football this year, of course, we've got 2 cup competitions and who knows how deep we're going to go into those. We're definitely going to need reinforcements, but the numbers are okay, but the standard of defenders are not. So we don't know what's going to happen with Agurd. The jury's out a little bit, I think, for me, on Mavropanos. He's definitely got a mistake in him, as has Agurd. Kilman made a bit of a rip in the pre-season friendly there against Crystal Palace, but I think I would prefer to see us get him off the books and go for somebody like Todibo, and then maybe have a right-sided centre-back and a left-sided centre-back alongside Kilman. And then, of course, you've still got Mavropanos, and then you've got young Caelan Casey as well to cover. So, yeah, I mean, I think it might be beneficial for both the club and for the player himself. But certainly it needs sorting out because, you and I spoke about this off camera. Last season was defensively, the most amount of goals we'd conceded. So, Mr. Lopetegui's got a lot of work to do. And also, as we spoke previously. So far, it's not quite clicking the things that he's supposed to be implementing, and I think you're definitely sensing his frustration when you see he's an angry man on a touchline. So for sure, it needs sorting out.
Absolutely. Well, as I speak, there's 75 of you watching. We've got 29 likes on YouTube. Before we all depart, please don't forget to make sure you click the thumbs up icon. I can't stress enough, guys, when you do that, 79 of you watching, when you do that, how much it helps the stream itself, the channel, getting to places where it otherwise wouldn't have got. So 80 of you now, if you can drop a like on this stream before you all clear off into the sunset, I'd really appreciate it. And if there's any of you there that are not yet subscribed to the channel, 82 as I speak, it's going up and up and up. I think they've all turned up because they think Ricky Hatton's still around. So for those of you that literally just joined us, wind back. We had literally the boxer, world champion, Ricky Hatton on this live stream. I kid you not. If you don't know, go back and have a look. It's absolutely true. Two-weight world champion. But yeah, give us a subscribe, drop a like on the stream, and please also pop across to Michael's channel as well. Opinions from Offside. As I say, I've dropped it in the chat up above. And just to give you guys a little bit of that haven't seen it, that there is his channel. Please do go and have a look. Give him your love, give him your support, and set him on his way to YouTube stardom. We'd really appreciate it. Okay, right. I'm going to disappear there, Michael. Thanks for joining us. And you guys that have been watching, please, as I say, don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Michael and I are going to disappear, and we're going to leave you with come on, you Irons, stay safe, and please don't forget to give the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity your love.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive, everywhere we go.